April, can you hear? Test, test. Can you hear me? Hey, April, are you on? Can you hear me? I think I'm the only one on. It's recording. Hey, April, can you hear me? Hey, April.
Hello.
Hey, I've got you projected on like the big screen because we've got a room of people. I don't know how many people is going to be here, but just so you know, I was going to try to figure out if we can hear you in the room. So can you just talk real quick
Okay.
to see if I can figure out how to do the audio?
I can.
Okay, it's coming through my computer, so I may have to call in on the phone line just so we can talk because we're going to be sitting at tables.
Yeah, it's like blotchy.
Okay,
What-
let me.
what
I'm going to dial in on the conference line then, so we can, if we want to talk that way, we'll mute this one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and yay, exciting.
It is. It's a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So it'll be good. So if you need to, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call in though.
If you can't find the number, let me know.
Hi, April.
Hello.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
Good. I haven't. Okay, let me meet.
I see you. I can't hear you. I see you, but I can't hear you.
I'm on the phone.
Okay, good.
Okay.
That often has a better sound.
Yes. I wanted to make sure I don't have the speakers, the computer speakers on, or not to be in both.
Yes. Sometimes when that happens, you get feedback, and then
Yeah.
it starts echoing. Ooh, it's bad.
I know. The thing is, I want to make sure. Do I just leave it like that?
I can hear you great.
Okay. So we have a couple of other people on the line.
Yes. Christy,
Okay.
Mackenzie, and
Yeah.
Bianca. Hi, Bianca.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Oh, I look too red.
Yesterday I was playing with it because I thought I never look like I have eyes. I just have these dark spots.
You need a floodlight so it can give you some extra light. I'm looking at the window. I'm like facing my window in this room. I'm home today. So that's why I get a lot of light from the outside. Yesterday I was on my cube. I was in my cube.
Well, you had a lot of good light yesterday too. I actually closed the window because I thought it might help. I even wore makeup so lighter makeup.
Oh, don't worry. It will be all good and fun. Remember.
It will.
It's on, but I'm on my computer. And I may have to go back over here.
Marisol, Christy, for her, on my screen, she's to my left. She's our president of WIN.
Hi, Christy.
Hi. We're just trying to get set up, so I was just moving the computer around so you can see.
Great. Hey, Katrina, how are you?
Good. How are you, Marisol?
Excellent, excellent. How was the trip up?
It was smooth sailing, so that was all good.
Great, great.
Yep.
Maybe. It was early in the morning when I came back. Your name, so I know there's so many people.
Yeah.
Oh,
She said, I don't know.
No, it's a video. I recorded everything, so, yeah, but, no, not yet.
Yeah, to get clarification. Application sounds around in March or just kind of starting.
I want to do it's in March. It's in March.
Okay, so the sign up deadline, which is just one sign up is in March.
Will be a little, yes, they can apply, you can send all the people. Apply.
I'll contact. It's Jacob Lovett, Rosalind Lovett.
Oh, okay, so they're going to.
Cosme, there, and sign up for another option.
Yes, I will say that send by email, and they can reach out by email, and maybe by February. we will-
Okay.
So they don't need to comment, they maybe comment when we have all the things, so they know the amount. Maybe okay.
Okay.
Hi, Nancy. How are you today?
Cool.
Marisol, whenever I click on the polls, can you see that? The poll. Oh, I see. I got to launch. Never mind. Okay. It's a new feature. I can't hear you.
Sorry, I put myself on mute. I said that don't worry, we are on a learning curve. So
yeah.
By the end of the year, you will be, expert. So I will not share until we're ready to begin, okay?
That's fine. We have just some housekeeping and some introduction, and then we'll kick off. We are already up to 26 participants, so it's going to be big.
Great.
We have
no
2 more
pressure
minutes.
there.
No pressure. We usually do try to kick off right at noon too, because we usually use all of our time. So.
Great. Okay. Noon your time, 1 p.m. my time.
Yes.
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 Mm-hmm.
I thought this was everybody's time.
No, we follow you, April.
I always have to put things into my calendar so that I know what time it actually is, because I can never get it right if I go back or forward. So
yeah,
it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is noon, so I guess we probably ought to get started. Christy, are you ready?
Yeah, sorry, but I'm ready. Did you need me to say anything before we start?
Just a warm when president welcome would be great.
Give me just a second. Let me get this. Can you see me? Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, good. Because the phone is like to my right. So, hello everybody. I'm in Fort Worth, Texas. My name is Christy McKinley. I'm the president of Women in NRCS, and I'm excited that you're able to join us today in the first of our career development series. And I think it's going to be a great series, and we hope you get a lot out of it. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, April, because I know we've got a lot to cover. Thank you.
Thanks, Christy. So I do want to do just a bit of housekeeping first. Please mute your phones and or your computer. If you don't, we get some really wonky feedback that really makes a mess of things. If you are driving and or using your phone, oftentimes those phones don't get muted, and we get a lot of feedback that way too. So if you can mute that, that would be helpful. We are recording, so there's that. And we will push out the recording whenever it comes back in. We will push out the recording to the members. There is a couple ways to communicate with us. One of those is through the chat box, and so at the bottom of your screen, if you're using the Zoom app, you'll see the chat, and you can just type in a question, and we'll be able to see that. Or if you need to instant message somebody, you're welcome to instant message, and we'll look we'll be watching for that. If you need to email, just however you need to communicate, please feel free to. I think that is all of the housekeeping things. So now I kind of like to introduce our series. We are very, very glad that you're here. We've put a lot of work into this career development series, and I'm very excited about it. And we are, so today kicks off Wins the Women in NRCS, In It to Win It, which is what we typically call our bi-monthly training sessions. But this year we're doing the career development series for 2020. We started the In It to Win It about 2015, a few years back, out of a need for training that we saw at one of our conferences. And they are to provide training for our members, motivation, just a little bit of helpful things that we can pass along to folks that we have so much experience, and until we pass that along, nobody can benefit from it. And so that's what our In It to Win It's are for. This year, we have a lot of very valuable workshops planned, and we encourage the WIN members to invite the non-members to attend with you. And then, of course, we're going to encourage those non-members to join WIN. And anybody can be a member of WIN. It's not just women. We have several men that are also members, and if you knew who they were, you would be surprised. There's a lot of leadership that found the value in what we offer, and so we welcome everyone. The Career Development Series was born from a desire to provide some information for our members for the application that went out for the Senior Executive Service Program last fall. And so, once a seed gets planted, then we start using our imaginations and water that seed, and the next thing you know, we have a whole garden of ideas and plans, and what do we do with all of this? And of course, a few weeds. But our In It to Win It are a way to support WIN's vision and mission, to provide women with training opportunities and mentoring to develop to their fullest professional potential. And so that's exactly what this Career Development Series is specifically focused to help our members explore and achieve that professional potential. So the agenda this year is very aggressive. There will be a webinar each month, and that is a heavy lift for us. It's a heavy lift for you on attending. We will have these recorded, so if you need to jump in and jump out, you'll have that opportunity to do that also. January and February, the topic is an inspiring decade, and it's a place to start helping you learn about what's important to you, discover what you want to accomplish in the next 10 years. And if you think about 10 years down the road, what a great place to start 2020. What does your life look like in 2030? And that's a little bit of an overwhelming thing to think about. But if you want it to look a certain way in 2030, you have to start now to make sure it gets there. So you'll discover your why. You'll be inspired to create your vision, values, set goals, tap into your beliefs, be encouraged to find for yourself or help others through mentorships and coaching, and most important, how to be accountable to yourself, because things don't happen passively. You have to be intentional about making changes and getting from point A to point B. In March, we will discuss the NRCS organizational structure. I'm supposed to be showing you this, sorry. Share my screen. Can you see that? Hopefully. There's our agenda. In March, we'll discuss the NRCS organizational structure. And the agency is so multifaceted, and there are endless career opportunities, and we want to explore a lot of those different things and help you to learn more about our awesome agency. April, May, and June, you'll see that we'll be exploring various training programs and opportunities that are available, and this is going to be local, tri-state, state, regional, and national headquarters career development opportunities. So we really want to take a comprehensive look best we can for what all the opportunities are. And then August, September, and October, we'll discuss the tools throughout your entire career that you'll need to help you get to those places, like writing resumes, navigating USA Jobs, because we know what a bear that is, how to prep for an interview, and also how to conduct interviews. So if you're on the opposite side, we have, I think, a great speaker that's going to do some really good, pass along some good information. And then in November, we're going to wrap this thing up with a big red bow, get you ready for the holidays and to start off 2021 on a good foot, and so that you can do great things next year and in your career. So super glad you're here and very excited for today and getting started. Katrina, would you please introduce our speaker for today?
Yes, thank you, April. This is really exciting. I am happy and really looking forward to our presenter, Marisol M. Rodriguez. Marisol is a problem solver and a coach to executives and high achievers. She has 20 years of experience designing and launching new ventures in the private and public sector. Using creativity and innovative thinking to transform concepts and ideas into successful and innovative new businesses, she has saved the federal government thousands of dollars. She continuously collaborates, networks, and negotiates access to needed resources and opportunities to achieve organizational goals. Team collaboration and synergy has been the result of these endeavors. Marisol is considered a highly collaborative leader, inspiring superior performance by developing and coaching employees, and visionary with a consistent track record of turning challenges into opportunities for new businesses. She is globally certified as an associate certified coach by the International Coach Federation, ICF, and a registered coach mentor. Marisol is a graduate of the American University, where she received a Bachelor in Communications and earned a master's degree in International Administration from the School for International Training. This is a two-part series and inspiring decade Marisol developed to meet the criteria for her Toastmasters Advanced Communicator Gold project. So I am happy and proud to introduce my fellow Toastmaster, Marisol Rodriguez. Welcome.
Thank you, Katrina. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. And I am looking forward to this opportunity. I think it's going to be exciting. I'm hoping we have fun through the process. Sometimes it may not be an easier process, but I'm here to lead the way and help you to achieve a greater decade. So let me see to share my screen so we can start. And let me go to, okay. Let's see. Okay. So give me one second. Okay. So everyone, have you taken an inventory of what happened to your life between 2010 and 2020? As I was riding the bus yesterday, and I've been preparing for this presentation, I was thinking, what was my life? What has been my life since 2010? What has happened? What has been my accomplishments? I don't know if you have done that. Oftentimes, I think we just move forward and we don't take a time to see where we have been, how much we have accomplished. I think we have a tendency, and I will say that I am guilty on that sense myself, that oftentimes we focus on what we haven't done yet, but seldom we stop and do an inventory of what we have accomplished. So I was thinking yesterday, trying to look back where I was in 2010. In career, I was not at the USDA. I was at the Department of Health and Human Services. I was working with medical schools across the country. That was where I was. I was in my house, in the same house I live today. I was in professional development. I was starting my journey with a lot of trepidations as a coach. In adventure of fun, I was just taking, I was dipping my toes on traveling outside the United States by myself. On professional development, I think I was very heavy on professional development because I had a goal. I had somewhere where I was going. I wanted to go somewhere else. Where I am in 2020, very different place. I'm in the USDA. I'm in a very different place in my career. There has been a lot of accomplishments in terms of my career that, you know, I just don't look back. I just keep on moving forward. And I bet you that each of you have had a lot of accomplishments that you put your name to them during those 10 years. And the other thing is, most of us don't plan decades. We plan a year, maybe 5. That's not many people. In my work, in my line of work, I don't find a lot of people who have a plan for 5 years. Everybody does it at 1 year. So the intent of today's presentation is to be more intentional as to how do you want to celebrate December 31st, 2030. This is a great opportunity because we can look forward to 2030, December 31st, 2030. How do we going to be then? How our lives are going to look like? So that is the intention. That's what I want to leave you in through this workshop, part 1 and part 2. So let's move to the norms and non-negotiables, okay? Be open-minded, free of judgment. Be open-minded in the sense that some of the information may not resonate with you, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. Maybe it's a different way to look at how you need to plan what you want to accomplish. Be present, focused, and honest in the sense that be present, and this is, you know, this information is going to impact you depending on your level of attention you're putting into it. Invest the time and your attention on this time for yourself, for your career, for your life. It's very easy to get distracted when we are looking at the phone, looking at the computer. So I will encourage you to be really present and to really listen to what we are going to talk about today. Whenever you're doing statements on the chat or when we have question and answer at the end, please use I rather than you statements. Share ideas and experience, avoid advice or opinions. And also respect whoever is speaking. And I'm putting this one on the norms and non-negotiable because sometimes when we are virtual, sometimes it's hard to, especially if we don't have a visual to go by, we may jump in before the other person is finished talking. Honor the confidentiality and privacy of everyone's comments and input for the sake of everybody who is participating in today's session. Okay, so we have learning objectives. These are learning objectives for the workshop, part 1 and 2. We will identify areas of your life needing attention and focus. We will select areas of your life to create a 10-year vision, define goals, and write a plan for an inspiring decade to begin implementing it immediately. There is someone who is not muted. Would you please mute your phone? Thank you. There's still someone who is still not muted. Thank you. Okay, so let's begin by discussing purpose. What I always like to ask participants in conferences is, have you ever asked yourself, why are you here? Not in this conference, not in the USDA, not in the United States. Asking this question differently, have you ever wondered why were you born the day you were born? What is with that? Why I wasn't born, let's say, in the 1800s? Why was I born on the year that I was born? The purpose is because we have a mission to be here today. And that mission is what give us the guidance into where we're going. Purpose is who I am. And who I am. That's, those things that nobody sees. Probably they observe them by behavior. Something that make me come alive. Those things that you cannot evaluate on a performance plan. Probably some people take it into consideration. Purpose is something that those talents that you bring with you that no one else can replicate. And one of those tasks in life is to discover that. What is your purpose? What is it? What are the gifts? Or what is the gift that you have to bring to the world, to humanity, to the person next to you, to the person across your tube? What is your vision? Sometimes we have an inkling of purpose from very young age. I remember being probably 6 years old when I started, going to school, saying, when I grow up, I'm going to be a teacher. One year I was going to be a language teacher. The next year I was going to be a math teacher. And so it went. Well, if I look back at my life, I have been a teacher professionally. I'm a trainer professionally. And from there, I have moved in different directions, continuously staying with that concept of being a trainer, helping people to discover about themselves, helping people to learn new skills in order for them to be on purpose. Purpose is about your vision, but is your vision about the entire life? But in this workshop, we are going to also talk about visions for various areas of your life. Our life entails different aspects that we sometimes bundle up into two things sometimes, or three: career, finances, and family. But there's more than that. So we need to discover all those different areas and create visions that support the global vision for our life. It's the values that we hold dearly. And sometimes those values get us in trouble. But oftentimes we are not aware of those values. And those values are very important and oftentimes, like I said, create conflict. Sometimes is what gives us joy in life. And beliefs. We all have different beliefs. But that doesn't mean that is wrong. That's what makes us, whoever the person we want to be. So how do we discover purpose? So let's begin. Imagine 3 months ago, you won $200 million in the lottery. I'm sure every one of you will know how you will spend tomorrow. That's very easy. But how will you spend next year? How will you spend 5 years from today? Sometimes we think that having money is going to solve us all our problems. Last night, I was reading that a retired military coach created a very exclusive coaching program for people who have all the money in the world. They will never run out of money because of the level of wealth that they have in their life. But they're missing things that money cannot buy. But at the same time, they needed challenges because their challenges were to be different. So he created a very exclusive coaching program where there was no advertisement. It had to be word of mouth. And he took upon learning about each of the participants as to what were the things that they enjoy in life. Like one man liked to climb. So coaching, and for some of you who are familiar with coaching, understand that those are conversations based on specific goals that the client wants to achieve. So basically the coaching with that participant was to do a climb. And through the climbing process, coaching happens. Because that joined with the challenge that person was seeking in life. Okay, so imagine if you had $200 million in the bank. Think about it. How would you spend your day 5 years from today? Probably thinking about tomorrow, that will be easier. But 5 years from today, that's the challenge. Now, if you were to attend your own funeral, wouldn't we all like to do that? What would you like to hear people say about you? Have you ever thought of that? What is it that you will love people to say about you? I personally would like to hear people say, I was funny. I was, inspiring. And that's something I would like to hear. Another question is, what will it take to bring more passion and enthusiasm into your life? What kind of work, what kind of activity? Sometimes it has to, it doesn't have to always be work, but what exactly gets you excited? What exactly brings more enthusiasm into your life? Is it your children? Is it your family? Is it growing things in, in the spring? I mean, not things, I'm sorry. Growing vegetables, growing plants, cooking a new recipe, coming up with new crafts. I mean, they're all things, but that is important information when we are looking as to what exactly is our purpose. If we look at your job, what exactly did you enjoy the most? What kind of task? Most often we know what we enjoy doing. I was talking to a lawyer who was sharing about the fact that she has a new lawyer coming into the firm. She's been graduated recently and passed the bar. But then she discovered that this person is not so much interested in law as it is in marketing. She said, I love seeing her, how she interacts when we have to go out in conferences and we have a booth. She's very good connecting with people. So that's another thing to look at it. Maybe, put attention as to what exactly gets you going, what excites you, what really gets you moving. Okay? With purpose, once we discover our purpose, vision. Vision is where we are going. What exactly is the vision for our life? Or what is the vision for the next 10 years? Again, how would you like to celebrate December 31st, 2030? Where would you like to be? What would you be doing? Vision is a picture of the attracting future that allows many avenues. As I say, it's a direction, it's not a goal. For some of you who have been on a cruise, we all know that at nighttime we can see lighthouse around the shore for ships or boats to come in. That's my analogy for vision in our life. It's the lighthouse. Our vision tell us when we are on target, when we are aligned to our vision, and when we have moved away. Another term is our vision is our GPS. Vision is also how we're going to put our talents, our skills into the work that we do, into activities that we engage. And again, vision is what guides us. I read that UPS has changed their vision, I believe, 3 or 4 times. One of the things that happen with vision is, let's say that you set your vision for 2030. Very important to sit down and see where you are with your vision in 2030, because you will need another vision for the following decade. Microsoft set up their vision in, I believe, early, what was it? I think it was 1990s. And soon they had to revise their vision because they had achieved their vision. So the vision had to be revised. That's what happened with UPS. UPS had to revise the vision because they had achieved their vision frequently, so it had to be updated, and I don't know in what version of their vision they are currently. Nike, I think they came up with a vision that is very broad, and they have lived their vision since the beginning. So what is your vision? How are you going to celebrate 2030? What is going to be happening in your career? I don't know where you are. How many years are you away from retirement? Where are you going to live? Are you going to be where you are currently? Will you be somewhere else? How about family? How about fun, which include trips, hobbies, new skills? For example, you know, it's something that you see yourself learning. What is your vision? What exactly would you be doing? And the vision is one sentence is going to entail everything that we are talking about, that it can give me an idea what you will be celebrating on December 31st, 2030. I'm sorry, I was going to say 2013. Going back. So that's very important that you give yourself a global vision for the decade. So how do we write your vision statement for the decade? So I will use how I will answer, so just to help you, and then you can give it a shot on your own time. So what could I like to have more in my life? That's very easy for me. What I would like to have more in my life is freedom. And not in a lot of various, in different sense, I guess, in different senses of the word freedom. What is the essence of what I want to deliver? What I want to deliver is inspiration and knowledge. And what role do I take upon myself to deliver that? Well, I see myself in the role of coach and in the role of a speaker. What am I going to be known for in this area? My vision is to be known as someone who powerfully transforms my clients, my audience. What is different because I exist? What is different because I exist because of the work I do. I transform lives. So that's the difference. I transform lives. So once we have a vision, once we have written our vision statement, we can check and see how big is. How does my 2030 vision inspire me? Does it inspire you? Does it motivate you? Does it excite you? Is it frightening? Are you scared of what you set yourself out to do? Or to just feel like, oh, can't do that, no big deal? How big is the vision? Can you reach your vision while in your comfort zone? The question I often ask people is, who do you need to be, or who do you need to become in order to achieve that vision? What is it that you need to, what changes needs to happen within you in order for that vision to be realized? How and where does your vision resonate in your body? In my body, oftentimes, for the most part, it resonates in my heart. There are some people which resonates in their throat. Some people, it resonates in their belly. So where does it resonate your vision? And how does your vision honor your talents? So I will stop here to see if there is any questions, if I have lost anyone, confusion. Anyone has any questions? April, have you gotten any questions so far? Oops, sorry.
I have not.
No? Well, if you have any questions, you have to come out of mute. If not, I'll continue. Okay, no questions. Okay, so moving to values. Oftentimes, let me say something about vision. I'm sorry, which I was planning. I forgot to say that. Oftentimes we hear about vision, about organizational visions, and I don't think anyone ever told me until I came to coaching that I needed a vision. It always was that, as an organization, we work under a vision for the organization. Anyhow, I forgot to mention that. Moving forward.
I have a question for you, Marisol. So, looking at the workbook, we talked about what's your vision, and then it has some examples of vision statements in it. So when we make our vision, I may have misunderstood you, but I thought I heard you say it's a global vision, but would we want to break it down? Would our vision for our career be different than our vision for our family? Do we put it all together, or do we break it into those different areas?
Oh, okay, thank you. The global is for, let's say, for the decade, okay, which entails everything, okay, entails every aspect of your life. But then when we move to the wheel of life, that's where we will talk about visions for each area of our lives. Did you see the difference?
Makes sense. So we would have a different vision statement or goals to plug in for each area of those of our life, but it all works into the overarching vision for where we are 10 years from now.
Correct.
Thank you.
The ones in each area of our life support the one that is going to get us to 2030. Okay? Okay, so as I was saying, values. Oftentimes we talk about values, but we talk in a very objective way. Most often, and I will say this, that in my experience as a coach, I find that seldom I come across somebody who can flash out their, 3x5 card with their 5 most important values that they live by. We often react to what is violating a value, but we really do not understand. We often feel dissatisfied because there's one value that is not being acknowledged. And sometimes our values are there, but we are not truly aware of them. The way I see values is when we understand them and when we know which values are important in our life, they become a filter. And that's how I view them. So values represent our unique essence. And you say, well, what is an essence? The essence is who we are being in the world, how we behave, what beliefs we have, how we do things, how we carry ourselves. And like I said earlier, they help us to discover if we are aligned with our purpose, with our vision, or not. And when we are aligned with values, vision, and purpose, life is great. Life is fulfilling. We are, I was thinking yesterday, it's going down the river without paddles. It's just enjoying the ride, listening to the birds, and just enjoying the sunshine and the ride. When we are misaligned with values, purpose, and vision, we are paddling up the river. And it is not an easy way to go about because we find rocks, we find trunks of old trees, we find everything on our lives. I remember years ago, I was coaching a new supervisor in one of the agencies in USDA. And she was very upset because she found that she was being mistreated, I believe, by her supervisor, and she had a lot of different things that she was putting on her supervisor. But then we talk about her daughters, and she gave me also about what was wrong with her daughters and what was happening in her house and a lot of different things. But then when we did the exercise about values, she realized that there were a couple of values that were very crucial for her, that were very important. And because she wasn't aware of the importance of those values, she was reacting to how other people went about in her life. The reason it's important to know your values is because then you can understand or help other people to work with you in a way that the collaboration is easier. Sometimes because values are violated, we react. Same thing happened at home, same thing happened in the world around, anywhere, at the store, at the school, whatever it is. But values are filters that help us to know when we're on purpose, when we are not. And so what I will encourage you is to identify your values. For example, my values, my most important values are authenticity, being genuine, even though some people cannot tolerate that. And I say that because I've been told, some people say, well, you're too direct. And so it took me a while to realize that the problem wasn't with me, it was with the other person. Being authentic is not something is valuable to them, but it is to me. So sometimes one of your values may not resonate with somebody else, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. It's not one of their important values for the other person. But if it is for me, that is what is important because it helps me to guide my way, to guide my life. Another value that is crucial for me is creativity. If I don't have creativity, if I don't have a way, an outlet to put my creativity to work, I feel like the plant that is put in the wrong environment or in the wrong temperature. I just feel stifled, stagnating. Very important humor in my life. And I shy away from people who don't have any humor in their life, who don't tolerate a joke or just don't see fun in life or the humor on things that sometimes, it's better to laugh than to cry. For me, well-being is very important. What do I mean about well-being? Health. Health is one of the components of well-being. Happiness, joy, prosperity. And prosperity sometimes, most times, do not mean money. Prosperity means a lot of different things. I have come to realize in my life that money is a medium to get what we want to accomplish in life. But the crucial number one asset that we must have in life is health. That's how I view well-being. And the fifth value in my life is freedom. Freedom, not so much about, I'm not talking about the freedom to move around. Yes, of course, I want to go places where nobody has gone. I just came back from Antarctica last month. I like freedom of doing the work I want to do. I want the freedom to develop my ideas in projects. I want the freedom to do the work the way I wanted to do it and not have somebody telling me, no, you're wrong. No, you need to do this. No, I'm beyond that. So I want the freedom to bring my creativity into what I'm supposed to be doing. So I encourage you, you will receive a sheet with a number of values that you can look into it and see which ones are the ones that are really important in your life. One of the other thing that I will encourage you to do, which I did, I was in a coach training, an advanced coach training class last year, I think it was, or the year before. And we were asked to select people. I think there were 20 people that we were to select. People who knew us well, friends, colleagues, supervisors, managers, and compose an email and ask them to identify the 5 words that came to mind when they heard my name. That was an interesting exercise because I didn't say values. I said we were to ask words, 5 words. And I got the responses. And among the responses were the values that I have selected for myself. excuse me. So I thought that was interesting. That gave me feedback that I am living my values on my day-to-day life, inside work and outside work. So I encourage you to do something similar if you want to really see how are you living your values? How people see you, and identify those values that they are important to you. If you're living them at the office, at church, at I don't know, whatever other organization you're involved, at home with the family, with friends, and that will give you information too as to what people see and how they see the way you carry yourself in terms of your values. Now, we're going to move into the overall life. So we already talked about purpose, vision, and values, which I think is like three-legged stool. It's the foundation for anything that you want to accomplish. You can't accomplish any goal if you don't know what your values are. You may accomplish certain progress, but it's going to leave you with some things that are not going to be accomplished because you don't have that filter working. The same thing with your vision. A lot of people put together goals, but where are they going? How are those goals fitting with where they're going in terms of career, in terms of life, in terms of professional development? So basically is going by default. So if we want to change creating a life with intention or with purpose, we have to take in consideration what is our purpose, what is our vision, and what are the values that we hold dearly in life. So now, let's move on to the wheel of life. This is a tool that as coach we use regularly to help people to get an overview of where they are in their life. And this is to measure levels of satisfaction. This is for you to determine what level of satisfaction you have in each area of your life. Here are some samples of areas of life: business, career, finances, money, health, family, friends, romance, relationships, personal growth, fun, recreation, spiritual development. When it comes to spiritual development, I'm not talking about religion, I'm talking about developing the self, that inner self that we have. So if we go back, if we go back to the previous, the process is on a scale 1 to 10, which is the last line out here. How satisfied, let's say, with your career? Let's say that you say you're an 8. So that will be the 8, okay? That will be the mark of the 8. So when you do, because we gave you a template to do the assessment wheel, and it has the questions, and then you do the, you answer the questions, and then you tag all the results into the wheel. So the idea is that when you're putting the results of, let's say, friends, let's say that, fun and recreation, let's say is 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Let's say it's a 6. So it will be here, okay? So the idea is when you're finished putting the marks and let's say that we are moving from left to right, okay? So when you're finished identifying each area where you are and what level of satisfaction you have, what I want you to do is to join each mark. Let's say you have one here, down here at 5, the other one at 9, the other one at 2, the other one at 10. So it doesn't matter what it looks like. I want you to join each point in the scale, okay? So next, so that will be something that I will ask you for you to do for part 2. Because in part 2, that's going to begin, it's going to help us to identify what goals you want to develop for your life for the next 10 years. So this will be the baseline. The Wheel of Life will be your baseline of 2020, okay? So when we look at the goals in the next session, we're going to develop goals that is going to put that is going to address those areas they are not doing so well today. So then in 2030, the idea would be for you to redo the Wheel of Life and see where you were today, and where you are then. Okay? So this is the end of part 1, and I am open for questions at this point, or anything that is in your mind, reactions, anything that you will want to share at this point.
Hello, I have a question.
Sure, go ahead. Your name?
My name is Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
Hello. What did you say was a part of the three-legged stool? What were those things again?
Oh, first one is purpose.
Purpose.
Vision.
Vision.
And values.
Values.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Thank you. That's very interesting.
That's the foundation.
The foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Marisol, can you see the chat?
No, let me stop sharing so I can go out of here.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I like this thought process, and I'm moving into my last year with NRCS. So big second career challenges ahead, and I make my hobby a new career. Thank you for the advice. Thank you very much, Claudia. I appreciate your comment and your feedback. And I hope that this could help, would help you in aligning for the career challenges that are coming ahead. So join us for the second part, and that will be very helpful for you as you move to your new career. Sorry, Heather. Ooh, somebody is on, I'm getting an echo. Heather, I'm sorry, but the PowerPoint will not be shared. We share the workbook, and that was where everything is geared with the different topics that we will we discussed on the PowerPoint. Oh, you say PowerPoint handout. I'm sorry. The handouts were sent out in the workbook, wasn't it? Is that what you're asking, Heather? The ones that we are looking to today? Because those are already in the workbook.
Marisol, this is Katrina. When we have like major personality conflicts,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that's out of alignment with any of our goals and values? You know, sometimes personality conflicts can be real challenging when you have a team of people and you have to accomplish tasks together.
Yeah. As I was, whoever is on 402, 494, 4949, would you please mute yourself? It's giving us an echo. Well, as I was saying earlier, when I work with the supervisor, and I have worked with many, I'll give you many different employees around USDA and other government agencies, because I've been coaching across the federal government, not just USDA. And what I find is that a lot of the conflict oftentimes is around values there, which are not respected and honored. But the person who is reacting to one of their values being violated and not honored, oftentimes is not aware of it. That's the interesting part, that I will react, but I'm reacting to something that it has nothing to do with my reaction. So when I work with people and we go through the value exercise, helping them to identify their values, they realize that the person that they're reacting has nothing to do with what is going on within themselves. When they understand, for example, with that supervisor that I worked, she was having a lot of problem with her daughter integrity, honesty. And so one question I asked, I said, where are you yourself are not being honest? And, or I can't remember what else I asked her. I said, what is it that brings up that reaction? Why honesty? I said, it's your daughter. Why are we talking about honesty issues with your daughter? And so we end up in a place where she realized that honesty had been very much embedded in her life. Honesty was very important to her. So she evaluated everyone, not just her daughter, including her employees, from that filter. You know, what she thought of somebody being honest and how she thought somebody demonstrated that they were not being honest. But until you realize that you're doing that, or that is a value that you have that in high esteem, you react. So that's why it's very important for everyone in a team to understand what are their values. What do they value? Because a lot of the times people say, well, she's not doing their work, or she's not responsible. We are talking about accountability. Somebody has accountability as a really important value to themselves. And if you look at the person's behavior, they're pretty much highly responsible, very accountable to whatever commitments they make. But the person next to them may not, because that's not a value that they high in high esteem. That's why it's important for a team to really understand what exactly they value when working with other people. And that's what we call values. Did that answer your question? Thank you. Anyone else? Come on, don't be shy. This is your opportunity. Don't walk away confused.
Hi, I have a question. I don't know if it's a question or comment, but my name is Bianca, and I noticed that you mentioned that you need to have value to accomplish all your goals. So I know that sometimes it's really hard. Maybe
I'm sorry, Bianca. I'm having a hard time understanding. I don't know where you are. Can you get closer to the phone?
I'm in the computer now. Can you hear me now?
Oh, you're in the computer. Maybe that's why.
That is, yes. Sorry, I'll try now. Is better?
A little bit better.
Okay, my question is, I know that you mentioned that you need to have value to accomplish your goal. So the value is very, very important to pretty much to make your purpose and vision. So everything is together, but the value has a big percent of that.
Sorry, you lost me. I'm hearing value, and I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time understanding.
No.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
Marisol?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes I think it is hard to sort out why something is important to us, or why it's been a reoccurring drive or passion, or something that we have found ourselves just always going back to. And so how can we take something that we know we're always drawn to, or find ourselves passionate about, and then work backwards to find out what is that value that's driving that? Or perhaps it could be conversely, why do I find this person difficult to work with, and then go backwards to find out, well, that's because I have a value that this value that I'm filtering everything through. How do we go backwards? Is there a formula?
Well, thank you for that question, because it brings to mind something that I should have mentioned. In my work, I have also worked with people who realized that whatever value sometimes is giving them a difficulty is not their own value. It's their parents' value. So when it comes to values, we also have to do a house cleaning, spring cleaning, I call it, because oftentimes we go about life with our parents' values. Now, they have those values for the time that they grew up, the time that they lived in the world, and how they went about in the world. But Is that value helping us? Is that value holding us back? What exactly is doing that value for us? Does it fit our life? That's another thing that we have to look into, that sometimes a value may be a challenge in our life because that is not a value that I chose, that I wanted to put in my life. Like, and also a lot of the times it's culture. Our culture ingrained in us values that sometimes are not helpful. So for me, for example, I'm very much against culture when it comes to being authentic. And I understand that. It's very much against the government culture in general, being authentic, being genuine, because oftentimes that is not something that you do in a political environment. But for me, it's very important. So I think you have, when you look at values, you have to go back and look as to where that value comes from. You know, and sometimes we do things because they're traditions. And I mean, it's like, really, does tradition help what we are wanting to accomplish, or is holding us back? So this is a perfect opportunity to look at what is it that you want. The other thing is, with your vision, take your training wheels off. What is your vision? A vision that it just scares you, the skin out of you. But the other thing is, be careful, who do you tell about that vision? Because there are people who are going to shoot you down faster than a balloon. So, especially around family members. I say it because of my experience. So it's important to take a look at to what are those values that we hold dear. Are they our values? If they're giving us trouble, where does that value come from? Is it a value we inherited from our family, from our culture? Where exactly did that value came from? If that value is not fitting with what we are living today, how can we change it? What will be a better value for you today based on your career, your life experience, everything put together? What is a better value that it aligns better with who you are, what your purpose is? Did that answer your question?
I think so. And I also see that Bianca has typed in her question also, so we can address that now. Thank you, Bianca, for doing that.
Oh, okay. Value, well, value is, let's say, Bianca, this is for you and for everybody else. I said there are three components to the framework or to the infrastructure of your life. Okay, so it's like a three-legged stool. So what happens if we take one leg out of the stool? Everything plays a role in achieving your goals. As I was saying right now, sometimes a value may hold you back on accomplishing whatever goals you want to accomplish. Let's say that you have a goal that, you know, it goes against the type of projects you are assigned or the kind of work you're doing. Regardless what happens, you know, that goal is going to hold you back. And so that's why it's so important. The other thing is on relationships, also with values. What happens if there is a value that is not being honored or respected? How is that going to impact you on your life? And how is that going to impact how you go about achieving whatever goals you set yourself to accomplish? How is that value, that violation or honoring of that value is going to affect the fact that you may not reach that vision you set yourself for the next decade? So as I said earlier, values are filters that help us to know when we are aligned with our purpose, when we are on our way to our vision, and when we are being true to ourselves. So I hope that answers your question, Bianca. Great. Okay, so Ziara says, as a supervisor, let's say your values may not be the same as your staff values. How could you address that to ensure that unnecessary conflict does not arise? Okay, well, that is going to happen regardless of where you are. So the way to maneuver the world that we live in, because we're all different individuals with different goals, with different values, with different purposes, with different visions. I think that what I always encourage the people I work with in coaching is to be aware of their own values, to begin to look at employees in the way, what exactly is it that they value? What are the employees' values? And it is, as a supervisor, I hope that you can take it on task to begin identifying what exactly are the values that you are seeing in various employees. And like I said, oftentimes we don't have training to help employees to address this type of knowledge or insights that is very needed in the day-to-day work that we do. And so at the same time, I will encourage you as a supervisor, become aware on conversations, because when we talk, when we are exchanging ideas or complaining, that's where you can tell which values are being aligned with what the employee is living by and what values they're not being honored or being ignored by the employee. Because not having an idea what my values are, it leads me to a lot of complaints of being uncomfortable, of not enjoying what I'm doing, or placing blame. But it has nothing to do with what I think is the fault. It has to do with the fact that I know something is misaligned, but I'm not quite sure what it is. But whatever is in front of me, whatever is closest, that's what I'm responding to. I hope that helped. Did that answer your question, Sierra? Great. Thank you.
Okay, another question or two, and we'll need to be wrapping up. This is your opportunity, because after today, it'll be February 21st before we get back together to take the next step with this. Ask away.
Exactly. The other thing is, what I want to say is, I want to emphasize the importance of these three concepts that we went through today. because when we come back on the second part, we're going to start designing goals. We're going to talk about limiting beliefs, habits, legacy, and where we go next. Oh, you have, is there going to be I'm sorry, never mind. I'll send you an email.
Any other questions? Oh,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay. How often could you recommend relooking at purpose, goals, values? Your purpose is one in a lifetime. So what I will say is that the challenge is to find your purpose in order to live your purpose. The reason we are here today in this time and age, in this moment that we are breathing, we are alive, is to fulfill our given purpose. And whatever that purpose is to contribute to the good of humanity, to each other's. Goals, well, depending how, you know, I have 10-year goals. I have 20-year goals. I have 1-year goals. I have monthly goals. And values, I will say probably values change. Sorry, not much. The only thing that I will encourage you is to decide whose values are you living. Are you living your values? Are you living your parents' values? Are you living the cultural values? Whose values are you living? I think that's important. And what I will encourage everybody is to start thinking about 10-year goals. I know some people are going to say, wow, I can't even think of 1-year goal and you want me to do what? But we're going to do those next time. And so, so that's my answer for you, Dara. Purpose is once in a lifetime. Goals, I will encourage 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, a lifetime. And values, evaluate them. Are they yours? Are they your family? Are they cultural? Whose values are you living?
Wonderful. So we have 5 minutes left. We have time for one more. Okay. So please join us at noon Central Time again on February the 21st, and we will start addressing the second half of the series, talking about all these things that Marisol had mentioned. And our goal really is to keep moving you forward, to look at your career and your life and where you want to go. If you have questions in the meantime between now and the 21st, feel free to send them to me or to Marisol or even to Katrina, and we will get them to Marisol, and we will make sure that they are answered and addressed and that your needs are met. So if there's anything else we can do, let us know. You know, Marisol, we forgot to do the polls. That's okay.
Never mind. Don't worry. I think it went well without the polls. We'll use them the next time.
Okay, we can do that. Okay. So thank you everyone so much for joining us. And we've really, it's very inspiring. Marisol is a very inspiring person to just visit with and to talk to, and she oozes enthusiasm. So we're so glad to have her, and look forward to joining you again on the 21st.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thank you for inviting us. Yeah.